Hey guys, Sandy here. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to having a little bit of popcorn. So today is Stitches and Stencils Day. This is the day where MK, Janet, and I use some sort of stitching and some sort of stenciling on our layout. So as you guys might remember, my sewing machine is being a bit of a jerkwad. And I don't really have the ability to sew with it right now. So I had to pull out a needle and some big ol' thread here. And then I also have my photo and my stencil. And this is the Scrapping Reflections June stencil of the month. And then I pulled out my Cocoa Vanilla Studio Happy Days collection as well. This is my photo. So let's see what I can do. All right, guys, so I have pulled out that Happy Days collection and I'm just giving a quick flip through to see exactly what I want to use. I know I want to use this paper over here that's got the purple on it. It's from a layout that I did already. And I know I want to use it because the other side has the butterflies and we don't need the butterflies, do we? No, we do not. So I am going to use that, and I decided that I really like the stripy paper, right? Like I love the way that this mostly solid color paper is layering over top of the stripy paper. It makes me happy, you guys, so that means I am going to use it. Now I am going to go ahead and tear that purple paper down the edge so that I have a white edge, because I think that it looks better that way to have that little bit of a contrasting line between the two pattern papers. And I like the torn edge. I don't want to do a straight line, because my stencil is going to give me the lines that I want. So I was having a moment and trying to figure out what I was going to do. I didn't know if I was just going to stencil just the line so that I could stitch on it. I wasn't exactly sure, and as you can see, the fingers are tapping because that means the thoughts are happening. So ultimately, I decide to go ahead and stencil some ink through the stencil. I do use the grape color ink from Close to My Heart. It's been a hot minute since I looked at the Close to My Heart website or catalog, so I'm thinking grape is still a color over there. Not exactly sure. So I'm going to go ahead and add some ink on there, and I am going to get a nice deep ink, and I decide to cover up the little bits of lines over here where I'm like, oh girl, you might go and stencil where you don't want it. So I put some washi tape right over top of those lines, and I am going to put them down on the page. Now I think that this would be really fun as well to alternate colors and cover up that way with washi tape. I also think it would be awesome to do all in one color, shift it a little bit, do in another color. You could really make some fun things with this stencil, I think. I am stupid excited about this stencil. So I'm gonna go ahead and just go ahead and get that ink, nice deep purple color through there, because it is purple over top of purple, you guys. So I want to make sure that there is enough oomph behind my stenciling so I don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to put that away, peel off the mylar sheet, which is what the stencil is, and then ta-da! Look at that, I have the stencil going on. So now that that's down, I have to go ahead and sew, right? I got to put the stitches on. The title is Stitches and Stencils, and your girl needs to make sure that the stitches get on, even if the sewing machine is kaput. The sewing machine is kaput. To be fair, I haven't really gone and looked at sewing machines either to replace it. But also, to be fair, I haven't really worked in my room other than creating in it. I haven't put stuff away or things like that because, you know, it's a mess again, and it's just the way it is. I need to get it to the point where it's not halfway done, parts aren't done, and just need to do it. So, you know, if I could just get a week off of work, that'd be great, people. That'd be great. But then I'm like, do I really take some vacation time to just clean up my scrapbook room? No, because I'm going to take my vacation time to spend it with my family. So, you know, there's all kinds of things going on there. So anyway, I went ahead and poked holes, and I am definitely cheating because my stitches are going to be huge. I am literally going the length of the stenciled line here. And yes, I am using the white thread over top of the dark purple ink, and I like the way it looks. So I just do the longest ones, and I go ahead and sew that up. I'm not going to make you watch me do every single bit of this because it is tedious and redundant. And while I definitely could run my mouth for the entire time that it took me to do it, I'm not going to subject you guys to that today. I am going to just not do it. You know what I mean? Speaking of things, remember when I showed you the pile of papers I got on clearance at Joann's? Yeah, that's still sitting on the desk. Haven't put that away. So I'm using my beautiful but not great scissors because I feel like this is another thing I could use them for. I'm halfway tempted to put them in the fun foam basket and just have them as fun foam scissors, but you know, these are the things that go through my head. So off to the side, as you can see, I am drinking some Grape Gatorade Zero. Big fan of Grape Gatorade Zero. It's my favorite Gatorade, actually. So this time I use a different pokey tool. The pokey tool I used before had a much thinner needle. This one is thicker, so there is that. And I'm just going to poke the lines that got the line and then a little bit more, and these are the ones that are in the center of the longest lines. So I go ahead and do that, and I definitely don't make you watch that because who wants to watch that? Nobody. And then I am going to take some pieces of paper that are in my lovely leftovers pile, and that is what I do. I kind of keep my scraps, and I put scraps in quotes because you guys have seen the size of my scraps. I keep that off to the side and I use them up or, you know, do a lovely leftovers layout with them, which I haven't done in a hot minute because I really haven't had enough scraps to do it. So maybe I'm getting to the point where I can actually do a lovely leftovers layout, so that would be fun. So I'm going to mat this photo on some varying pieces of paper and go ahead and build that up, and then I'm also going to put it on some fun foam. Now you guys, I definitely thought about putting tulle on this layout because I like putting tulle on my layouts. I like matting photos on tulle. I think that it is a fun time and I enjoy it. So that is one thing that I thought about, but I didn't. And I do mess around with where I want my photo, where I want the sunburst to go, and how that's all going to work out. Ultimately, I figure out what I'm doing with my life and make it happen. And of course, my ATG has to run out of adhesive right in the middle of it. So I turn off the camera and then put the adhesive in the ATG and make that sucker happen. So I lay it down there. I am okay with the level of stitching and stenciling that is peeking through the left-hand side over here. And I'm watching the video. I'm actually watching the video while I'm talking to you guys, and I see the Gatorade on the screen, and I just moved my hand over to the left to pick it up, and the Gatorade isn't there anymore, you guys. I drank it all. It's gone. Wish it wasn't, because I could definitely use some right now, but yeah. Anyway, I am looking at the cut apart sheet to determine if there is anything I want to use off of there. I did add that kind of naturally colored burlap-esque ribbon underneath of the photo. It just adds a little touch that's different than the whole kind of color scheme and feel and vibe that's going on the layout. I want it to definitely have some natural feeling elements, and I know that that sounds wackadoo because paper comes from trees, and you know, trees are don't get much more natural than a tree, right? So, but I want other kind of textures and types and want it to feel natural. And anyway, that's how it works out in my head. So we have the thread, we have the burlap-esque ribbon, and then I do put on paper flowers, so that kind of rounds it out, but that's going to happen towards the end. Now I am going to put this little guy over here, and they are meant to be journaling spots, I'm sure, but I am going to put a little sticker over here that says, "Oh, happy day," and I'm going to count that as the title, right? I don't know if I'm going to journal yet on this page. I've got to get this trip's layouts all together and figure out where I'm missing journaling or if there's any stories that I want to make sure happen in that section of the album. So anyway, I'm going to put that off to the side. Now I love this card right here because it repeated the colors here, and I like that it was opposite, like its order was opposite. And I thought I was going to leave it in one piece, but I decided to cut it apart and layer the words down over the page. Now, I end up having more strips than space to put down on the page, so I'm not too worried about that. I kind of count and try to figure out if there's any other way I could add some strips, and I'm sure there is, but I like the way that it looks once I finish it, so I don't, right? Like, here's the thing. My original idea, keep it all together because I really liked how it was opposite order of like the colors. But it felt too big and blocky. Cut it apart. Wanted to put it all the way down the side. Doesn't exactly fit. It's fine. Move on, right? Like, I'm not so hung up on the idea that I have to have all those strips that I need to make all of those strips happen on this layout. So just toss them off to the side. I actually think I threw them in the trash, if we're going to be completely honest. And then I noticed that my little bits over here are kind of leaning down. So I grab some pop foams and put it underneath so that it isn't leaning down. I don't want my labels here to be like a scoop, like scooping down into the layout or like a ramp going up onto the photo. I don't want that, right? So put the pop foams on there, and then I go to my flowers and pull out these bad boys. These were clearance flowers, and I'm just going to go ahead and pop them down. I'm just adhering down with some ATG because I still haven't gotten my stupid white glue, Nouveau Deluxe, from the shop. I am pathetic. I know, because you guys have heard it for weeks now, but it's working fine. The ATG is working fine. So we're going to get the flowers down on that, and then that is going to do it for this layout, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for joining for another Stitches and Stencils. I can't wait to see what MK and Janet have done this month. And there's a couple of close-ups for you, and I will see you guys again real soon for another video.